This is Talkie Yoki. Come and have a seat. Pop-up talk show. There's a few subjects on the table. It's kind of up to you to decide what you want to talk about. Come all. Everyone's invited. There's no age limit on this. My name's Mikey. Come and have a seat. Don't be shy. What's your name?
Annabelle.
What is it?
Annabelle.
Annabelle and
Emily.
and
Freya.
and what's your name?
Alan.
Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in this. What's your name?
David.
And
June.
And I'm Mikey. Well, there's a few subjects. Maybe it's time just to go flick through and see what we've talked about already. Rick, can we just flick through? I know you're working on the medieval colour chart right now. So we've got Rick here that's visualising the conversation, but we'll just go and flick through quickly what we've got so far, if that's all right. Just hit Control S and then you can save it all. He doesn't want me telling him what to do, really, to be honest. But, so we're here because of this painting, but we've been talking about all sorts of related issues. We've been talking a lot about colour today. Different colours mean different things to different people, which has kind of been interesting. Like, some people have said there is such a thing as a boy's colour and a girl's colour. That pink, especially, has been singled out as a girl's colour. Blue, some people said blue or red as a boy's colour. Other people have said that's all nonsense. So I don't know what you think about that. Maybe we can but anyway, that's just one of the many subjects we've been talking about. First of all, we talked about colour. Is there enough colour in the world? What about if pollution was more colourful? Would that be better? This is about if this was a gallery run by dogs, would it be all about smells rather than colours? Then what about if the walls were green? Have we got the right coloured walls in here? A lot of people, there's been one of the central things. It's been more about the colour of the wall than the painting, actually, because a lot of people have said this red is warm and friendly and nice. Other people have said it's angry and harsh, and other people have said it's opulent and rich. So people have got different ideas about what this red means. So what about if it was this kind of green colour? Or what colour is that, would you say?
Grey.
Grey?
Grey.
Grey?
Grey.
Grey. Grey.
Yeah, it looks great. It's like a bluish grey.
Yeah, I mean, earlier on people were saying blue, and I think it's interesting, you know, I think that's actually supposed to be black, isn't it, Rick? Grey, black, grey, black. But this is the thing about colour, is people see colour in different ways. And this is the interesting thing. This is... Apple tend to use like a darker hue of grey, right, to let all the pictures stand out when you're going through albums. And okay, so when you're looking at photos on your computer, they go for grey. Yeah, there's always a dark grey. It's always the same hue of grey. Do you think that would work well in this gallery? I don't know if it would, because a lot of the tones used in these pictures are quite muted. Yeah. There's not so much vibrant colour, so. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the lighting, maybe it would work. I don't know. Maybe all the spotlights up here might actually make it stand out. I don't know. Okay. Would it make the colour in the painting stand out if the walls are more grey, like in an Apple computer? Anyway, we're just still flicking through. This is the controversy about whether it's white and gold or blue and black dress. Any thoughts on that? White and gold, blue and black? Yeah? Blue and gold, I would say. Blue and gold, okay. Come and have a seat, come and get involved in this. This is Talkie Yoki. Okay, so let's flick through a bit more. This is about, are we kind of throwing colours on boys and girls, making them be pink and blue? We've sort of talked about that already. And is that the last one? Oh no, and this is like, what about if you took a photo of this instead of painting a picture? What would the difference be? Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in this. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. What's your name?
Felix.
Felix. I've kind of forgotten everybody's. You don't want him to sit down? Why not? Too much. Okay. All right. So when we're talking about all of these things, where should we go with this conversation? What should we talk about? What do you want to talk about? Any of those things? What's your favourite colours? Any of those things of interest to you, or should we talk about something different? What would you like to talk about, Felix?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Anything on this side?
See, I think that the background walls, I think they're spot on for this gallery.
Yeah.
Now, only because I've been here so many times, I'm used to that colour.
Right.
And I just think, well, that's a natural colour for these walls. But any other colour, I think, might be strange.
Okay, so it's also what you're familiar with, the colours that you're familiar with as well. What do you think about these? Do you like the red walls? Should we have a different colour wall?
No. No.
You don't like the red walls?
I like the red walls.
Oh, we shouldn't have a different colour?
No.
Okay. What does this red say to you?
I don't know.
It doesn't say anything, but you like the red. Okay. I'm going to go around the table. It's red wall or different colour?
Warm. No, I like the red walls.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Green wall behind us there.
You don't like the green?
I don't like the green wall. No.
Red or green?
Red.
Red. Okay. Is this the best colour for the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Red.
Red. Okay. Yeah. I've asked you already.
Red.
Red.
I like the red too. It suits it.
Okay, so
it suits it. Yeah.
There's a real vote of confidence here for the red walls. Because Trisha was asking earlier on whether we should change the colour, but it seems everyone around the table is saying red is best. Red is best, but what does red mean? Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in this. Everyone's welcome on this table of chat. I've actually forgotten everyone's names because I was too concerned, so I'm just going to go around again. My name's Mikey. What's your name?
Felix.
And
June.
Annabelle.
David.
Emily. Freya.
Alan.
Piper. Jeff.
What is it?
Dom.
What is it? Dom?
Yeah.
And what's your name? Come and sit down.
I don't know my name.
Okay, it's fine, it's fine. Can I call you Anonymous? Is that okay? I'll call him where he can decide what he wants to be. And we're talking about what do you think about these red walls? Just quickly while we're on the subject, do you think it's the right colour for this gallery?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got that one sorted out. Where are we going to move on to? What are we going to talk about? What would you like to talk about? Yeah?
Scooters.
Scooters, why?
Because they're fun.
Okay, I mean, all right, well, maybe we can sort of like merge the two subjects together about the gallery and the scooters with the question of fun. Is this gallery fun? Could it be more fun? What would make it more fun? Okay, I'm going to ask Anonymous, what would make it more fun?
Well.
Or is it fun already?
Fun already.
Okay, I'm going to go around.
Fun already.
You think it's fun already? What is fun about it?
The pictures.
Pictures are fun, okay, yeah. Could it be more fun, Felix? What do you think?
I don't know.
Okay, I mean, are you having fun here?
Yes.
Okay. Could this gallery be more fun? Could it be more fun? That's what we're asking about now. Is it quite sort of boring or is it quite interesting and fun?
Maybe if they introduce Lego, it might.
Yeah. Maybe a bit. Should there be like a permanent Lego room in this gallery? Yeah.
Well, I reckon if there was, I reckon visitor numbers would soar.
Yeah. If there was a
permanent
Lego room.
If this was on once a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I reckon visitor numbers would soar.
What do you think about this side? Would you come once a month? Would you come more if there was more Lego here? Is that yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would if I could.
You could. Why can't you?
We live in England.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Where are you from in England?
Leicestershire.
Okay. I mean, do they have galleries like this in Leicestershire?
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
Okay. What galleries do they have there?
Just art museums.
Okay. What is the difference between the art museums there and the ones over here in Scotland?
Here they're like prehistorical.
Yeah.
And there they're just like normal.
Yeah.
Most of them in Leicester are just like normal, just paintings.
Okay. What's a normal painting?
Modern.
A bit more modern. Okay. So they're a bit more modern in Leicestershire. What do people think? Could this be a bit more modern? Do you think?
I'm not quite sure.
Have you been to Leicestershire?
No.
Okay. Have you been to Leicestershire on this side? They've got more modern paintings down there.
We have a modern art gallery here.
Okay, it's a modern art gallery as well. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
You should go there. That's cool.
Yeah. Have they got? I mean, is there a place? What do you think? Should we? What do you prefer, modern paintings or historical paintings?
I think a good mixture of both. Really. I mean, there's some modern art that's so abstract that it hurts your head.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe I mean, does it hurt your head, some of the art they've got down there in Leicestershire?
Not really.
Not really? What do you think? Modern, historical? Is there a place for both?
Good things if they had like things of Zeus.
Zeus.
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, Zeus is Zeus modern or historical? Historical.
God.
Okay. Have we got any paintings of Zeus? Maybe we should ask some of the gallery people. Is there any paintings of Zeus? There's no one around from the gallery. Should there be more paintings of Zeus? Do you know who Zeus is?
No.
No?
He's the god of all gods.
The god of all gods?
Married to like Ares or something.
Married to who?
Ares or
okay.
Something.
Do you know about Zeus?
No.
Okay. Do you know about Zeus?
No.
No? Okay, so this is interesting. Is this what you know about Zeus? How come you know about Zeus in Leicestershire? Is Zeus big in Leicestershire?
Not really. Because well, he's big in Greece.
He's bigger in Greece.
He's a Greek god.
Okay.
I always go to Greece, and also we studied ancient Greece in year 5. So.
Okay, so you've studied this at school. Okay, so it's not that big in Leicestershire, but bigger in Leicestershire than he is in Scotland, it seems, because no one knows about Zeus here. What? You can come and get involved. What are you saying?
No, I'm saying we've got to go get my son in a minute.
Okay. Are you from Leicestershire as well?
Yes, I am, but not
come and sit.
These guys.
Okay. I mean, what do you think about? Is there more of a Zeus thing going on in Leicestershire?
Not that I'm aware of.
No. Where does this Zeus thing?
They study it in school.
Right. I mean, how do the galleries here compare to Leicestershire? Would you say?
I think these are better.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's a much bigger city. It's a capital city. You've got the historical. They don't have anything like this.
No. Okay. All right. But apparently you've got more modern stuff down there.
Maybe, but again, I would recommend the modern art.
Okay, so you've got modern art there. Okay, give us a final thought before you go.
We came to see the Lego.
You came to see the Lego, okay.
The children.
Are the paintings a bonus?
Yes, indeed. Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Is there anything you've seen that you didn't expect?
No, I just love it all the paintings, yes.
Okay. Have you got a final thought?
No.
No? What's been the most fun thing that you've seen or done today?
The paintings. The paintings.
Seen the paintings, okay, yeah.
I'm just curious to see how they're going to put this all together.
Well, I mean, Rick's busy working on that now. I mean, I just want to put forward this question: have we got any paintings of Zeus in this gallery? What?
Jupiter. I think we do have a couple.
Do you say Jupiter? Is Jupiter the same as Zeus?
Ooh, I think he is, but I might be wrong.
Okay.
There's the Roman and the Greek gods.
Right,
it's the same god with different names.
Okay, so Jupiter is Zeus.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think if we do at the moment. If they are, there'll be the first couple of rooms on that side, the middle side. So have a look around at them all, particularly the big middle room.
Okay, so there are some paintings of Zeus as Jupiter in this gallery. Have you seen them?
Have a look around. There's lots of gods in the gallery.
Yeah, what gods are there?
Oh gosh, who am I going to say? Was Venus, goddesses. There's Venus and Mars.
Right.
They're around.
Is there the god, isn't like Christian's god?
There's lots of paintings of. Actually, no, that's a really good question. There's lots of paintings of Jesus and the Virgin Mary, but of God Himself, I don't think He's in any of our paintings.
Okay.
But I might be wrong.
Tell me it's illegal to paint pictures of God because it can offend people.
Is it illegal?
It can offend people.
Okay.
But a very famous artist called Michelangelo did one.
Yeah.
So you do find pictures of God.
Okay. What do you think is about pictures of God? Would you be offended by a picture of God? Anyone around?
I suppose it depends.
Yeah.
It depends what he looks like.
Okay. It depends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is some interesting.
What she looks like.
Okay.
You're wading into dangerous territory.
Well, we can go wherever we want on Talkioki. It's the table of chat. It's up to you to decide where you want to go. These guys brought up Zeus or Jupiter. Did you know that Zeus is also Jupiter in Roman terms?
Yeah.
You knew that, okay.
I knew that because I'm learning about him now.
Oh, you're learning about him, okay. And what do you think about depicting gods? Do you think is it a good thing? Does it help us in any way?
Makes
sure.
Yeah, painting pictures of gods. What's that?
It makes us laughing quiet because we always go Zeus.
Okay, so you like the name more than anything else, Zeus.
Yeah, Zeus.
Okay. So, I mean, what about you're saying you don't believe in God? Can you still paint a picture of a God that you don't believe in? Do you believe in Zeus? So where do you think Zeus comes from?
The ancient Greeks believe in them.
Okay, so it's what they believe. Okay. What do other people think on this side of the table? Can you paint something that you don't believe in? What do you think about the question of gods? Should you be painting a god? Have you even thought about it before?
No.
It's a big question.
Yeah.
That's a big question. Yeah. It really is a big question. I've been reading a book called Sapiens, and that certainly opens your eyes and makes you understand, or certainly represents that there's so many things in life that are just figments of our imagination.
Okay.
Bizarre. But
okay, so it's all part of our imagination.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It literally is. That's what goes on in this book. That governments, figments of our imagination.
Okay,
everything. So apart from things that are natural, like gravity, things like that. That's obviously natural. But that's real.
A lot of what we're talking about is in our imagination.
Yeah, it's been built up by people.
Okay. I mean, how does that fit in with this picture here? This is actually what we're supposed to be talking about, this picture here. How does that fit in with this picture here? Where it comes to our imagination. This is the imagination of an artist from 200 years ago. What?
It looks a bit like Cinderella. It looks a bit like that picture over there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was because we were talking about this picture, and what would that look like if it was taken with a camera rather than painted? But would you? I mean, going back. So, what's your name again?
Alan.
Going back to Alan's point about the imagination, is that saying more about the artist's imagination than a photograph?
No.
You think it's about the same? What do you think about this question about the imagination? How powerful is the imagination?
Very powerful.
Very powerful. Okay.
Weakest thing in your body.
You think it's the weakest thing in the body?
Yeah, I can't imagine something. I need to see it in front of me, otherwise I can't really imagine it.
What's the difference? Well, you actually have to see it physically there.
Put on a scooter, and he wouldn't believe me. He'll have to see it to believe me. I'd have to see it.
I mean, is that the same with the gods as well? Do you need to see the gods to believe in them?
No, but I just I would believe in God, but I don't really have any reason to, because no miracles happen.
Okay, so if you saw the miracle, maybe you would believe in it. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. We're talking about imagination, belief, art. Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in this.
My dad whispered to me that he wants to have a sit down and listen to.
Yeah. Okay. Come and sit down. Come and get involved. There's no age limit here. Give us a final thought.
If you're talking about miracles, I'm looking forward to creating something magical with Lego today.
Okay. Yeah? Is that a miracle of creativity?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think so. So many people all coming together, so many young minds all creating something together. I think it'll be really cool.
Okay.
Won't it, Freya? Yeah.
Have you got a final thought?
No.
No? Final thought?
No.
Okay, so at the moment we're talking about this question of the imagination. Come and get involved if you want to. How powerful is the imagination? You're saying it's quite weak. You're saying it's very strong. What's that?
This one's got the biggest imagination, the wildest imagination.
What he's saying is that he needs to come and sit down. Come and get. You need to see it to believe it. So we're talking. But when it comes to art, you're imagining things, and you are showing that imagination to other people by painting it. If you see what I mean. So you can't necessarily have this, but the painter painted it. And now you can see it to believe in it. And we've got some new faces at the table, so let's maybe just do a round of names. There's Mikey, what's your name?
Kieran.
Kieran. And?
Jack.
Was it?
Jack.
And?
Paul.
Whatever you call me.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to call you Anonymous and...
Jake Paul.
What is it?
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. And...
Piper.
And Piper. And I'm Mikey. Come and get involved in this. We're talking about the power of the imagination. How powerful is it? Anonymous is saying it's weak. What do you think on this side? Is it weak, strong?
What?
Is it about being able to see things? You're not sure? Kieran, what do you think?
Delican.
What's that?
I didn't.
You don't? Okay.
Know.
Don't know? Okay. And what people... have you ever done anything with your imagination? Not sure. Have you?
No.
Okay. So, what about on this side, the power of the imagination? You're saying that you think his imagination is strong. Why? What leads you to say that?
Because this boy can come up with all kinds of imaginary stories, imaginary friends, and his imagination is very, very wild.
Okay. Stories, friends. We're talking about the power of the imagination. Is it powerful or is it weak?
Weak.
I think it's.
Come on, sit.
I think it's the greatest force in the universe.
The greatest force in the universe.
That's right. Well,
That's
in our world.
In our world.
Not in the universe, but maybe in the universe. Yes.
Can you give us an example of a?
Everything you see around you.
Yeah.
Came from someone's imagination, right?
Okay, so everything.
Everything, not only what you see here, but what's in our world.
Right.
Came from the human mind, from human imagination.
Okay, so the idea to...
Imagine the world. Isn't that amazing? We imagine the world.
So, for example, the idea to have a gallery, somebody imagined it first.
Exactly right.
And then they made the gallery.
How powerful is that?
That's powerful.
Someone had a thought.
We're talking about the power of the imagination. How powerful is the imagination? Have you changed your mind about the power of the imagination, or do you still think it's quite weak?
It's weak.
Why do you say that?
Because I need to see it.
You need to see it. Okay. But is seeing it part of the imaginative process?
No.
No?
Because someone probably came up with the idea of God.
Yeah.
And no one can see it. But people believe in it.
But okay, so people come up with the idea of God and no one can see it, but they still believe in it. Is it about seeing? Is it about believing? What is going on with this imagination? J. Paul.
Fun.
What's that?
Fun.
What?
Well, the question is how powerful is the imagination? Is it about believing? Is it about seeing? Is it about something else?
It's quite powerful.
You say quite powerful.
About what you see.
Okay, it's about what you see. Okay, have you ever imagined anything?
Lots. I imagine it. I imagine lots of stuff.
Tell us one thing that you've imagined.
Candy World.
What is it?
Candy World.
Candy World. What's Candy World?
Where fairy.
On the front of the camera, lady.
Where lollipops can dance, and there's lollipops as trees and flowers as sugar plums.
Okay, so everything's made out of sweets. You've got lollipop trees and sugar and flowers. Okay, we're talking about the power of the imagination. Come and have a seat. How powerful is the imagination? Some people say it's weak. Others said...
One thing.
What is that?
Well, I imagined the world being like just empty.
Just empty. Isn't that powerful? Isn't that powerful in itself?
Actually, I've imagined one other thing.
Yeah.
A creature that I think I've seen.
Yeah.
The head of fox and the body of the raccoon.
Okay, so we've imagined two things in one sentence. Okay, we've got Anonymous, we've got J. Paul, we've got Piper, and we didn't get your name. Dusty and
Cecilia.
Come and get involved. It's talking about the power of the imagination. Just how powerful is it? And is it? Or give us a final thought before you go.
On what?
Well, I guess
imagination.
Anything really.
I love to imagine food.
Okay. Are you powerful at imagining food?
Yes.
Okay, so
imagine a massive burger.
You could imagine a massive burger. Okay. What are you gonna? what's your final thought?
I'm powerful at watching YouTube.
Okay, so YouTube, does YouTube stimulate the imagination, or does it do the opposite? Do you think
it doesn't do the opposite?
Okay, it does stimulate your imagination.
Depends what you watch, to be honest.
Okay, depends what you watch, yeah?
I imagine that when it rains, the gods are angry at us.
Okay, so you're imagining that when it rains, the gods are angry. Okay, got some new faces. So we've got Piper, we've got Dusty, we've got Cecilia. What's your name?
Andy.
And what's your name?
Oscar.
What is it?
Oscar.
Austin, okay. Oscar. Okay, so the moment we're talking about the come sit down. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but if you do, just attract my attention and you're welcome. You're very welcome as well. How powerful is the imagination? Is it the most powerful thing in the universe, says Dusty, or is it weak, said the nameless child? Although he did then go on to imagine a number of different things, so I don't know how strong that argument is. What do people think about the imagination? Is it the most powerful force in the universe? And what does it create?
Anything you want it to.
You think it can make anything?
Anything you want it to, yeah.
And is it about seeing it? Because that's one of the things that came up. It was about if you can see it, then you can do it. Like, for example, this gallery. Somebody probably made the plan for this gallery and a drawing before they made it. Is it about seeing it, or is it about somehow believing it? But I think, Piper, you were saying it's about believing it.
Yeah, seeing it, believing it, smelling it.
Okay. How does it work, the imagination?
Well, I think you take inspiration from other things. So you know, people who paint take inspiration from. I mean, for example, the scene behind you. Yeah. Somebody had the inspiration to paint that because they thought it was, you know, it was beautiful or whatever was in their mind at the time. So imagination is powerful. I don't think it's the most powerful thing in the world.
What is the most powerful thing?
Well, I think we're yet to find that out, to be perfectly honest. So
all right. I
think there is other stuff out there that we don't know enough about.
I mean, what do you think was in this painter's mind when he painted this?
The light shining on it? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Well, have a handle of it. So that's actually the one we're supposed to be talking about. Hello, come and take a seat. We're talking about the power of the imagination. Is it the most powerful thing? That's what Dusty says. What's your name again, sorry?
Andy.
Andy is saying it's powerful, but not that powerful. I don't know, say compared to other stuff we don't know about. Maybe forces of nature or earthquakes or something like. Come and join in. Don't stand from afar. Take part. Well, you can represent yourself. That's what everyone does. We're talking about the power of the imagination. How powerful is it? What was in this painter's mind when he painted this? Any thoughts, Cecilia?
A lot about the weather.
Yeah.
It looks quite dark, and there's the dark clouds, but then there's the rainbow. So, yeah, maybe feeling the nature.
What is more powerful, the weather or the imagination?
I think they're different. I don't think you can compare.
You can't compare it?
No, not at all. Imagination comes from a human mind. So
okay, so you can't compare it in a different universe.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Piper, give us a final thought before you go. Grab the mic, because you're a bit far away there.
I don't know.
What do you think what is more powerful, the weather or the imagination?
The imagination.
Okay. The imagination is more powerful than the weather. Dusty, what do you say about this? Is it a different universe? Can you compare the two, the weather and the imagination?
I think they kind of coexist.
Yeah.
The universe, the nature coexist, and yes, we obviously draw inspiration.
Yeah.
From the world that we see
so
around
us. So the weather actually fuels the imagination.
It stimulates us to create. So, but of course, when I say the most powerful in the universe, I took it back and I said in our world, in our universe, in our dimension, which is man-made world, really. Especially if you're in the middle of the city, sitting in a National Gallery.
Yeah.
What I meant to say is, if you can imagine it, you sooner or later you will be able to manifest it.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
All right. If you can imagine it, you can make it. I'm going to simplify a little bit.
That's right.
If you can imagine it, you can make it. You can manifest it. Do people agree with what Dusty's saying?
I think Willy Wonka is the point in case. So That's exactly what it's all about.
So Willy Wonka wanted to make a chocolate factory, and he did.
Absolutely, all in his imagination.
Yeah. Oscar, have you got a view on this? Do you agree with this? If you can imagine it, you can make it?
Yeah.
You agree with that as well? Okay. Is there anything that you've imagined recently? No? Okay. Come out and go around. Is there anything that you've imagined?
Well, again, it always comes through someone else. Very obviously, most of us don't have original ideas, and so we don't create original manifestations.
So we're getting other people's ideas, and we're imagining their ideas,
or recreating them, reimagining them in our individual way.
Yeah.
I imagine, for example, one of my many imaginations, projections. When I was about 13, I read someone's book, and I wanted to be in that story. And
what book was that?
I was a traveler, a guy who traveled through Pacific, South Pacific.
Okay.
And 10 years later, I was actually doing it myself. So obviously, we are inspired by others.
Okay, so this is interesting. So you read a story, and it's about we're talking about the South Pacific again. Because what's this? So
we've got paintings by Gauguin. We've got a picture of Tahiti. We've got one of his Tahitian ones. We've got three pictures by Gauguin, but I think 2 are on show at the moment.
Because it's interesting, because Dusty read a book about the South Pacific when he was 13, and then that inspired him to travel there at the age of 23. Do you know about these Gauguin paintings?
Sure, of course. They one of my favorite. What do you call it? Post-impressionist French. Yes.
Did it?
And I love that romantic. And also some of that voyeurism may be questionable in some politically correct kind of new political speak. I can relate to it, and
you can relate to that sense of the traveller travelling through the South Pacific.
Very fascinated by the romantic dream of European travelling through indigenous spices. Or going back to some kind of romantic colonial dream.
Okay. Well, let's spread this out a little bit. Have you ever read a story and imagined going to a place that you've read or seen in a story? Have you ever read a story?
Never in my life.
Never in your life. Okay. Cecilia, have you?
I can't think of one specifically, but probably have. Yeah.
Is there anywhere that you've visited that you've read about first?
Yeah, probably. I just can't think exactly. Yeah, I travelled a lot when I was younger and read a lot of travel stories.
Did the stories inspire you to travel?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
There are certainly places that maybe that we've not read about, but that you've heard about from other people, or that other people have been to. Places like Tuscany, and there were places in Tuscany that we went to that we knew of, or that we read about in books, or seen photographs of. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, does this inspire you to go and visit Salisbury?
Well, I know Salisbury quite well, and no, that doesn't inspire me to go and see Salisbury.
No?
I've seen better views of Salisbury's cathedral than that. And, in fact, I used to work in Salisbury, so I used to kind of sort of drive that way all the time, and I think when the sunlight's shining on somewhere,
so it could be a bit more like, we've moved on a little bit. We've got Jesus painting God. I think that's what it is. Or is it Jesus painting Moses? Oh, it's Jesus painting Jesus, self-portrait. But let's go back to the Salisbury Cathedral, because Andy's saying that there's better views of Salisbury Cathedral than this. What do you think? Sorry, Dusty, does that inspire you to go to Salisbury and see this in real life? No. Okay.
No, it looks quite dark and gloomy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come and take a seat on the table of chat. We're talking about inspiration. We're talking about. Give us a final thought before you go. Well, I mean, we're talking about the power of the imagination. We're talking about sort of seeing something in your mind and then doing it or making it. We're talking about, they're all different subjects that we're talking about. Really, it's been about the power of the imagination and the power of the weather as well.
I believe you can dream about something, imagine something, and the power of it actually happening. You've got to have belief. Yep.
Follow your dreams.
Follow your dreams. Yeah. Okay. What would that mean in your case?
I would have been playing centre forward for Newcastle United.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just never happened, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I still dream about it.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could do it on Football Manager or FIFA. You can manage the side. Okay. Follow your dreams. Are you off as well, Dusty?
Well,
okay. Sit down, don't we? I'll get more punters around. Okay, just sit down and give us a final thought.
What's my actually, I've been looking around while you were.
Okay, so you've been looking.
What can I add to this? Except that when I was a kid, Jules Verne's was one of my favorite authors.
Yeah.
And you look what 21st century, and we're surrounded by what you could call miracles that came from a human imagination.
Right. Okay.
When I was a kid, there was no television.
There's no television.
No television.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this,
Okay, so we've got iPhones, we've got television.
Imagine traveling back to ancient Rome. Or Bronze Age.
Yeah, you'd have
one of these.
You'd have no signal.
Just imagining.
What would they think?
Putting this all together.
What would we talked about Zeus early on? What would Zeus think about this iPhone? Would he think it's a miracle?
Or they would probably think it's a work of Satan.
Oh, okay.
They would think that I'm a devil incarnate, and they probably would stone me.
Yeah. Let's just come and have a seat on the table of chat. Thank you, Dusty. Thank you. Okay, we're done. We've got some new punters now, so it's okay. Let's come and have a seat. So my name's Mikey. This is Talkie Pop-Up Talk Show. We've been talking about a lot of different things today. At the moment, we don't have to stick on this because it's kind of up to you to decide what you want to talk about. At the moment, we've been talking about the power of the human imagination. Is it that Dusty over there said it's the most powerful force in our world? Somebody else said no, actually the weather is more powerful, or other stuff is more powerful. But that's what we were talking about just now. We've got a new table. Come and have a seat. Come and get involved. My name's Mikey. Let's get names. What's your name?
Sebastian.
And?
Bonnie. Maria.
What's your name? Come and tell us your name. Okay, well, we'll come back to you in a bit. Well, what do you think about the... do you want to carry on talking about this, or do you want to talk about something else?
Let's just carry on talking about this.
What do you think about the imagination? Do you think it's powerful?
Yes.
What's the most powerful thing you've imagined? Okay, what was the most powerful thing you've imagined?
I imagine loads of things, but I think it's nice to see their imagination, because you lose it as you get older. I think, or you can.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see kids with their imagination, because there's no boundaries.
Yeah. I mean, that is a point, actually. Earlier on, we had a kid who didn't want to give his name for some reason. Who's like, oh, my imagination's really weak. And then he said then he came up with like about 3 different things that he imagined in the space of about 10 seconds. But is it true that we lose our imagination? And what does that mean? Are you worried about losing your imagination when you grow up?
No, not really.
You're not worried about it, no?
No.
Do you think you will lose your imagination? Do you think you'll keep it?
I think I'll keep it.
Okay. Do you agree? Sorry, what's your name again?
Bonnie.
Do you agree with what Bonnie's saying, that we lose our imagination? Come on, get involved in this. Come on, 2 minutes. Give her a round of applause. Come on. Oh, we've scared her away. Have you lost your imagination? That's what we're talking about now. Are you worried about losing your imagination as an adult?
I think it just needs to be exercised.
Right, okay.
Like any other muscle.
How do you exercise your imagination?
Well, we come up with stories, don't we?
Yeah.
Last time we went sliding down the rainbow.
Yeah.
And what else?
Yeah.
And flying. We do a lot of flying.
Right. Okay.
In our heads and jumping into the sea.
Right. Okay.
From the rainbow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, does the imagination need to be exercised like a muscle? That's what we're talking about now. What do you think? Do you need to exercise your imagination? Come and talk about it. There's no age limit. You can park the buggy here as well. Just kick some stools away. Do you think it? Do you agree with that? You need to exercise it like a muscle.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And you can practice having an imagination.
Yeah. How do you do that?
You can imagine that you've got imagination.
Okay, imagine that you've got imagination. Maybe we should do it now because I'm seriously worried. I'm 43 years old. Have I lost my imagination? Has it just atrophied? That's like when a muscle disappears. How do we exercise? Maybe we could do a practice session now of exercising the imagination. So we've got some new faces to the table. Let's just get another round of names. What's your name?
Katie.
And what's your name?
William.
And?
Pika.
What?
Pika.
Pika. And what's your name?
Hoe heet je?
Berend.
Berend.
Berend. And what is it? And
Maria,
Bonnie and Sebastian and Mikey. So is the imagination like a muscle that you can exercise? And do adults forget to exercise their imagination and their imaginations shrivel into a tiny ball? What do you think? Katie, have you got a view on this?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think today we don't use our imagination as much because like there's just TV and things, you just watch it, you're not coming up with as much creativity.
Okay, so TV maybe numbs it a little bit.
I think so.
Okay. I guess this is Rick's trying to visualize the conversation. This is what is in your head, I suppose.
Like the Gruffalo.
Is this something to do with Gruffalo? Is this some popular culture reference that I don't know because I don't watch TV?
Imagination and storytelling as well.
Okay, imagination and storytelling. Can we do an exercise of the imagination here and now for old people like me? You say okay.
Okay.
But what do we do? How do we do it? Come and get involved in this. We need your help. We need to exercise our imaginations, but we don't know how do we do it? How do we exercise our imaginations? Oh, it is a tough one. Any thoughts? What's your name?
Michael. Exercise imagination.
Yeah, because it's basically kind of like between Bonnie and Maria and Sebastian. They're saying that imagination is a powerful thing. Kids have got this absolutely vivid imagination, but as we get older, do we lose it? And Maria's saying, do we need to exercise it like a muscle?
Absolutely, we do. I think you can do it by playing games, drawing, writing, just getting out and playing is a key.
Getting out there and playing.
I don't know, that young lady over there, it was brilliant. It's like people sit around and watch video games or TV or whatever, and it's very passive. You need to exercise your brain. Okay, so you're exercising your. Have you got a point?
You have to make books.
Okay, books. Make books or reading books or both?
Yes.
Yeah. But making books, reading other people's books that they've made, not TV. Are we too passive? Are we sitting around just...
Too much going in.
Too much going in.
Too much coming in, not enough.
Yeah.
Coming back out.
I mean, what about here? Because we've got a lot of pictures here. Is that numbing our imagination? Because we're just getting everybody else's, all these painters' imagination. Is there too much stimulus here, do you think?
This is great. I mean, because again, you're seeing a lot of things that either don't exist anymore or you've never seen, and you're seeing how people saw the world 500 years ago, which is pretty amazing.
So this is not the same as watching TV in a way?
Oh, I don't think so, because you tend to think about what they did, why they did it, who are the people in the pictures, what's the rest of the scenery.
Okay, so there's a lot of kind of extra stories that you can bring into this.
Right, exactly, trying to figure it out, even taking what they tell you and then putting a little bit more thought into it.
Okay, so in a way, we're not overstimulated.
But I think even though it looks realistic, it's not always about a realistic situation, because it deals with scenes from the Bible or other fantasy myths. And
okay, so this is in a way his journey into an imagination.
Yeah.
Whose imagination is it? Is it our imagination, their imagination? Whose imagination are we going into here when we say, I don't know?
When you look at the paintings.
Yeah.
I suppose both.
Yeah, the artist would have wanted, would have imagined something, and then we add to it whatever our experience is.
So it's kind of both. We sort of do it together in a way.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, do people agree with that? Is it our imagination, theirs? Is it more ours or more theirs? What do people think? I mean, also, we are supposed to be... This is our main picture that we're talking about today. I don't know if you've seen this one. I can pass that around if you want. But what about this artist? Is it... When we look at that, do we see more our imagination or more their imagination?
See the artist? Fantasy or fantasy?
What Lego thing.
That's where Stonehenge is.
That's right, yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that's, when you look at that, is it more your imagination or their imagination?
Actually, having been there, so now you look at it and you can remember, but obviously this was painted a long time ago, so it looks, except for the church, it looks a lot different now. Yeah. So it kind of stimulates your thoughts as to what you've seen versus what the artist saw.
Okay, so but would you say about 50-50 then?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Okay, Sebastian, what do you think? Is it, when you see the picture, are you getting more into your imagination or the artist's imagination?
Artist's imagination.
Why do you say that?
Well, they would have had to have a very good imagination to come up with those paintings.
What do you think was in this artist's imagination when he came up with this painting? Sorry, I'm just going to bring it back for a second. What do you think was in his imagination?
The cathedral.
Yeah, the cathedral.
And I don't know.
Okay, you think it's okay? Well, I'll ask other people. What do you think on this side? Sorry, I'm just going to. What was in this artist's imagination? Is it more his imagination or more your imagination when you see this?
You or the artist?
Artist.
Okay, and what is in his imagination?
Daar dacht hij aan.
De regen.
The rainbow was on his mind. He says the rainbow was on his mind.
Do you agree?
To me, it looks very realistic, but having not been in this time, I'm not sure if he applied a lot of imagination, actually. It was his view on what the landscape looked like.
So you think it's more your imagination than that, or there's no imagination at all?
No, not too much, I would say.
Okay. Katie, have you got...
Let's have a look. I would say 50-50 because I don't think this looks completely like it would have been a rainbow like that. Maybe it could be, but it's quite a big full rainbow.
Yeah.
So and then we have to imagine, well, what is he trying to say with this picture?
And what do you think it is?
It looks very dark on this side and very light on this side, so maybe he's trying to get to the rainbow.
Okay, so it's a kind of movement towards a kind of more rainbowy thing.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Coming out of a dark time.
Okay, coming out of a dark time into a lighter time.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Do people agree with that? You've seen it on this side?
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I think partly... It'll be partly from what the artist saw, but I mean, it'll partly be his imagination thinking, ooh, that rainbow would look lovely right there.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be perfect if there was this bucolic scene of the horses and the guy with the wagon in the water? Did that really happen? We don't know. So maybe we're imagining we're imagining something that didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
Because he's giving us that image because he wants to convey something about the peace and I don't know, whatever.
Did this actually happen as it was painted?
Probably not. I can't imagine that any of it happened actually.
You can't imagine that.
There might have been a tree there.
Okay, there might have been a tree, there might have been a cathedral,
Yeah.
but all these things happening maybe at the same time. Did it really happen? You are imagining it didn't happen, which is another kind of it's a kind of negative imagination.
I
in a way.
Negative. I think it's great that he imagined those things and painted them. Yeah. I don't think it's negative at all.
No, I mean more you're imagining something not happening in a way, if that makes sense. But okay, so where are we going to go with this conversation? We're going to talk about the power of the imagination. We're talking about this artist, what is in their head. Are we going to talk about something completely different? Are we going to talk about where do we want to go? What do you want to talk about?
Rainbow.
The rainbow.
You want to talk about the rainbow.
Do you like rainbows?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I mean, rainbow. What does it? Maybe we could talk about what does it mean? The rainbow. We've lost Michael. Give us a final thought, Michael. But give us a final thought before you go.
I want to use my imagination.
Yeah.
And looking at the rest of these portraits.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks very much for getting in. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I mean,
I'm just going to say we've got about 5 paintings of rainbows. Have you seen any other paintings with rainbows in?
Okay. Why have you got so many paintings of rainbows?
I don't know. You'll have to ask the artists.
Okay. Is it a popular subject for artists?
Can be.
Yeah.
I think also because it was seen as something religious, so Constable was very religious, and also something very hopeful.
Okay.
But yeah, and also something very beautiful to paint. There's a painting upstairs of someone who just like painted everything's perfect, and it's part of his idea of perfection, I think.
Right. I mean, earlier on we were talking about some of the kids were saying that in the past it used to be illegal to paint God. So is that rainbow just like a way of painting God?
Some people would see it as the magic of not the magic, but the power of God to create things that are beautiful. Or if you look at the painting of Niagara Fall, it's a rainbow because of the spray. It's a natural, it's a natural rainbow where you've got the sun going through the spray. So that's showing the power of science in a way.
Okay.
It can be many different times.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you for that. Thanks for that. It's always good to have some real knowledge around the table. Yeah. So, I mean, rainbows. Do you like rainbows? Would you paint? Have you ever painted a rainbow?
Heb je al een regenboog geverfd of getekend?
No.
No. Would you like to paint a rainbow?
Wil je er een tekenen een keer?
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe we can. I don't know. Maybe we can arrange that, or at least do one in Lego, perhaps. Okay. So, where are we going to take this conversation? What do you think about the rainbow? Is it important to you?
I think the rainbow represents the calm after the storm.
Right.
So maybe something bad has happened, and this is the aftermath, and things are looking brighter.
Yeah.
It also has the biblical context of Noah and the floods.
Yeah.
And the rainbow was supposed to be God's promise not to flood the world again.
Right. Okay.
So it could have some religious, well, it's got a church in it. So
yeah. Okay, some interesting. But come on and get involved in this. This is Talkioki. Okay, we'll come back afterwards. Okay, I mean, any thoughts on that? What Katie's saying? Do you know anything about this painting? This painting here, is it about going from a darker time to a lighter time, or is it about some kind of religious thing?
It's both. Some people have seen it as being both. The artist's wife, to whom he was completely devoted, had died the year before he painted it, and he was very, very sad. He never married again. He had young children. So some people see it as being he's moving out of that period of intense grief, but it's been a very dark time. Also, he was a very religious man, and it was a time when the church in Britain or in England was being criticised, and he was worried about people criticising the church. So there are many, many interpretations, but I think his personal life, he was very, very sad. He had been, where the rainbow ends, the house that the rainbow ends on, belonged to a friend of his, and the artist had been there in his honeymoon. He'd stayed there. He had a very strong attachment to that place.
Right.
So that's his friend's house.
Okay. So, I mean, do you think it's significant that the rainbow ends on his friend's house? And what is that saying, in your view?
Well, it's hope. There's hope in friendship, and there is.
Right.
However dark life is, it can be good if you have people that are your friends looking after you.
Okay, so in a way, it's more like saying that. So his wife had died, but actually there was hope because he had a very good friend.
Very late on, so some people think the rainbow, when it was first painted, there wasn't going to be a rainbow, and the rainbow was added towards the end. So it might be that he himself felt better having painted the painting and wanted it to be happier.
So he'd painted a very gloomy painting. It's like, oh, I feel a bit more happy now, so I'm going to make the painting more happy. So he added a rainbow. Have you ever done that with a painting or a picture? Changed it to make it more happy? When you've changed your mood? Like maybe put a sun in there or something like that. We've got some new faces to the table, so maybe we'll just do another quick round of names. I'm Mikey. We've got Katie. Okay, give us a final thought before you go.
I think we have to draw rainbows more often.
Okay, draw more rainbows. Okay. Have you got a final thought?
Wil je nog één ding zeggen?
No.
No? Okay. Final thought?
Wil je nog iets zeggen?
No.
No.
Where are you from?
The Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is that? I mean, well, you're going to go, but maybe when you come back, if you come back, tell us about painting in the Netherlands. Is it related?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. So we recognize it kind of immediately, the style and the use of light. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you find those a bit more boring because you've seen those kind of paintings already?
No, not really. I think they're fascinating each time, especially when you consider how long ago it was that they were painted. And
does the Netherlands look like that now, or has it changed?
Sometimes we live in Delft, and like Vermeer was living in Delft as well, and you can recognize it still. Of course, it's a long time ago, but
you can still spot the similarities. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So we've got some people from the what's the difference between the Netherlands and Holland? Because I want to say Holland, but you said the Netherlands.
Well,
was that the whole conversation?
Holland is a part of the Netherlands.
Okay.
It's just a couple of the provinces, and the Netherlands is all of them.
Okay. Yeah. Is Delft in Holland?
Delft is in South Holland, yes.
Oh, okay, so it's in Holland, so I can say Holland.
Netherlands.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, well, you want to be doing my job. You learn a lot. You're learning all the time. We've learned so much already today. We've learned all about the imagination. We've learned about colours. We've learned about different moods. We've learned a little bit about the painter that painted this picture. Let's get some names anyway. So we've got Katie over here. What's your name?
Tina.
And?
Jack.
And?
Lewis.
What was it?
Lewis.
North.
Lewis.
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 Okay. Well, I don't know. For some reason I couldn't hear that. Lewis. Okay. Come and sit down. Can we get involved in this? Come and sit down. So where do we want to take this conversation? What would you like to talk about? Would you like to carry on talking about the mind of the painter? Or would you like to talk about something different? What would you like to talk about?
I don't know.
Okay, anything on this? What would you like, Tina?
I'm interested to know why this painting was chosen. Do you know?
Why the painting?
Well, yeah, why this painting was chosen to be done as a Lego reproduction.
Okay, why this particular painting?
Because it doesn't normally live here. It's here for a year. We've got it on a special tour, and we want to do something special around it to encourage people to come and look at it, perhaps people who wouldn't normally come into the gallery.
Why is it such a special painting?
Why is it such a special painting? Because it's one of the last paintings by one of the most famous artists in the world. And he was British, he was English, but he was known all over the world. And it's one of the very last paintings that he did. And it's been recently bought by Tate Gallery in London, and it's an opportunity for more people to see it. So, but it's just a really important big painting, and it's interesting. And he painted in a very interesting way that now we see that was the end result. He painted lots and lots of sketches and lots of sketches that nobody saw. And I think since people realise all the processes he went through to produce the final thing, they think he's even more interesting than they thought before.
Okay.
So he's an interesting artist. Constable's interesting and very popular and very much associated often with England, a part of England. But he had a massive impact on one of our Scottish artists, William McTaggart, which a lot of people don't realise. So we were quite keen for people to realise that an artist working elsewhere could influence someone who was working well away from him. So, but it's because it's only here for a year. That's why we chose that one.
Okay. Well, there's quite a lot of information there about the very famous painter. What have you seen this picture? What do you think of it?
I haven't seen the picture, no.
What do you think of it now, looking at it now?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I think it looks quite nice.
Yeah?
I like the rainbow, yeah.
You like the rainbow, okay. Well, we talked quite a lot about what the rainbow meant. Do you think it's got a meaning, the rainbow?
I'm not sure. Light in the darkness, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people were talking about, yeah. What do you think of it?
It does seem a little dark. It does, and I know probably that's been said before. But it's and like you say, the church and the rainbow. There's an awful lot of symbolism going on there, isn't there? Interesting.
I mean, do you think it's kind of talks about a different time, or do you think it's sort of like, have we changed our kind of, you know, what we think is important now compared to then, like in terms of imagery?
Gosh, yeah, probably because I mean, he's famous for his landscapes and things, and but churches aren't really all that important these days, are they? They're not the most important of places. So maybe. What
would be the sort of new church, or kind of the crucial place that would kind of like be the equivalent now?
I don't know. Would people even bother to paint a shopping mall? But that's kind of
a shopping centre. You think might be like the modern church?
Absolutely. That's where everyone goes on a Sunday, isn't it?
Okay. Is it where you go on a Sunday?
No.
Do you like shopping?
Sometimes, depends.
Okay, I mean, what would be the place where you would go on a Saturday or a Sunday?
My bed.
Your bed? Okay, so we could paint, so maybe if Constable was around today, it would be Constable's view of his bed. Okay, so we've got shopping centre, bed. Where's the place to go on the weekends?
Either my bed, or if my friend asks me out, or I go out with my friends.
Where would you go?
I'd just go into his house.
Okay, so friend's house. Well, he's actually got his friend's house in this picture, so that's maybe still the same. Because remember, Tricia was saying that this is his friend's house where the rainbow finishes. So maybe that's something that's still the same. What would be the contemporary way? Would it be a shopping centre? Would it be a bed? Would it be a friend's house?
These days, probably the park.
The park, okay.
If it's
well, there's a bit of park going on there,
right
actually,
outside.
isn't there?
Yeah.
I think that's. I mean, I went to Salisbury, and I think it's still a park. That little area is still a park. What do you think?
I think that the rainbow might represent the afterlife.
Right.
That, you know, perhaps he was sad that his wife passed away.
Yeah.
And then, but she's in a better place.
Right, I see.
She may have been ill for a long time.
Yeah, so it represents the afterlife somehow, or some kind of symbol, sort of like message of the afterlife. I just want to say we've got this is one we made earlier. This is the artist painting the shopping centre. Is that more contemporary? Would that be the sort of way that the artists of today would kind of paint a similar thing? I mean, I think it's kind of interesting that you were talking about friends' houses when that's already in there anyway. Or come and have a seat. Can we get involved in this? So this is Talkie Pop-Up Talk Show. We have got Tina. We've got, what was it again? Jack and Lewis. Is that right? And what's your name?
Marcel.
And we've got Katie. And we didn't get your name actually. Karen. And I'm Mikey. Well, we're talking about this picture, but it's more about if you were going to paint this now or make it in some way through a photograph, whatever, would it have the same things in it? Would it have a church? Tina was saying it wouldn't necessarily have a church in it because not so many people go to a church of a weekend. What other places do people go to of a weekend that would be more appropriate for today's world? Would it be the shopping centre? Would it be a park? Would it be a friend's house? So that's what we're talking about at the moment. Have you got any views on that? Have you seen this picture?
I haven't yet seen it.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
Okay. Well, I mean, hang on in there. Did we get your name? What's your name?
Marcel.
Marcel, yeah. What do people think? Any other suggestions about where this might be?
I mean, he's famous for pictures of the countryside.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we do. We try to do over the weekend is go for a walk somewhere else.
So you still like to go to the countryside?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think hopefully there'll always be a bit of countryside for folk to go for a walk and clear their heads and get a bit of peace.
So in a way, a lot of these things are still the same. Yep.
I mean, if you drew it today, it would probably be more like ruins people would draw, or like broken castles.
So old castles and stuff like that. So it wouldn't necessarily be new things like a shopping centre. It would be maybe old things like a castle.
I think so.
You think people are maybe more interested in the older stuff?
I mean, more people are kind of do like old stuff and are more interested in that.
Okay, are we? Do you agree with that? Are we more interested in old stuff in a way? I guess why people are here in this gallery full of old art. Are we more interested in older stuff?
Yeah, I think it's like the paintings. I think they're just really incredible. Like how just to see how life was like back then and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but come and get back involved. Right now, we're talking about something a bit different. We're talking about what's that?
I like to eavesdrop.
Eavesdrop a lot on the table. You don't have to say anything. And there's also this question, I mean, it's kind of up to you where you want to take this. Do we also, because you mentioned this thing about the afterlife, so it's kind of up to you. Do you want to talk about the afterlife and about this rainbow, or do you want to talk about this idea of castles and old things, and are we more interested in the past than today? It's kind of up to you. Where do you want to take this conversation?
Well, I think buildings back then were built to last.
Right.
So you've got churches that are 500 plus years old.
Yeah.
If you think about this shopping mall that's being built down the road, is that going to be here in 500 years?
Yeah.
Probably not. It's more of a short term.
So it's kind of an instant thing, whereas this was more timeless.
And people who built it, you think, well, they might not even finish building that in their whole lifetime. Right. They might not see it finished, but they know that it will be there for their children and their grandchildren.
Right.
So it's more about building for the future.
Are we building things a bit too quickly now, do you think?
I think so.
Okay,
maybe not too quickly, but it's just
more
disposable.
Yeah, more temporary,
yes.
I mean, like the modern cathedrals to shopping are put up in a couple of years. Marcel, what are you going to say?
I mean, another thing is things get more popular over time.
Right.
Like the second you see a shopping mall, you go, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But if you see a castle, it has more history with it.
Yeah.
While a new thing is just new.
So do you think maybe the shopping centre, if it did last 200 or 300 years, would be more interesting if it was slightly ruined? Maybe we can get, Rick, can we do a visualisation of a ruined shopping centre from the past? Like, you've got one in your neighbourhood. Have you got a ruined shopping centre?
It's not really ruined. It's gone.
Right. Okay.
They knocked it down.
Yeah.
Yes, where we're from.
Yeah.
If anything is older than 50 years, they knock it down and build a new one.
Where is that?
North Carolina.
Okay. So they don't. Do you think they don't value the past?
They don't preserve the history. I mean, there are some things, but
the Historical Society has preserved certain buildings, but it takes a long time to get that to go through.
Okay, so yeah.
That's quite shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
does that not disturb people?
It does. It does. People who value the history of the city get very upset.
Yeah, I mean, how important is this history to?
It's really important. I mean, I'm sure everyone does it, but as a family, when we go out, we point out places and we say, oh, that's the place where we used to do this when we were little. And my husband, he climbs mountains, and he says, I was up that mountain with so-and-so and whatever. So you travel places, and as you're traveling through it, you have a history, you have a connection, and you pass on that connection to your family. You tell your children about it. But if things are changing all the time, then you've got nothing to latch onto and nothing to kind of hook your memories on.
I mean, what about a picture? Like, for example, you've got this picture here, which is of Edinburgh.
Oh, wow.
200 years ago, before the gallery was built, before the trains were built.
Yeah.
If you've got a picture like that, does that mean then you can knock all the stuff down because you've got the picture?
No, because you still want to be able to pinpoint something that is the same.
Right.
Don't you? It's kind of a human instinct, isn't it, to want to relate to something.
Okay.
Maybe.
What do other people think? How important is the history? Are there pictures of all the stuff that's been knocked down in South Carolina, and is that enough? Or
there are art galleries that have pictures of more the modern art kind of places that have pictures of what Charlotte looked like years and years ago, but it's quite different now.
Yeah.
It's very different from, I think, in Europe, though, because it's such a new place. I mean, Charlotte's history is probably only 200 years old.
Yeah.
And it was mostly forest before, so now they've developed it. You know, the house I grew up in used to have a pond next to it, and now it's got more houses. So, you know.
So things change a bit faster.
Things do have to develop.
Yeah.
So you can't have it the same forever. And as the population grows, things change.
Right.
But I think it is important to hold on to some things.
Yeah.
You know, preserve a bit of the history.
Are we preserving our history enough, and can we do more to preserve our history? I mean, it sounds though it's quite expensive to preserve history.
Well, I think more people today prefer to get newer, better stuff than actually just preserve something. Like most people don't take photos of something and say, "I'll remember this."
Yeah.
And more people just want to say, "Oh, I like this." 2 years later, we buy something new.
Okay, so we like to just buy new stuff all the time. We're not that bothered about old stuff. Is that true? Yeah. What's it? Yeah.
In a way, it is true. I mean, some people do like taking, like remembering things, and some things are preserved if they're great.
Yeah. So the very, very best things are kept. Can we get involved in this? We're talking about history. Are we preserving our history enough? We've got Tina, we've got Jack, we've got Lewis, we've got Marcel, we've got Katie and Karen and Mikey. What's your name?
My name is Jonas.
What is it?
Jonas.
What do you think about this question about, are we preserving our history enough? Obviously here we've got all this historical stuff. Maybe this landscape is the same now as it was before, but that's Edinburgh, that's somewhere in Central Asia, I'm not sure where. But I mean, are we preserving our history? Are we only preserving the very, very best of our history, and maybe most of it gets lost? Is that just because people want new stuff? That's what we're talking about at the moment. And is there anything wrong with that? Is that just who we are?
I don't know, sorry, it just made me think of, is it brutalist architecture? Because there was a big debate, wasn't there? And there's some really kind of hideous buildings down south on the South Bank that people really don't like, and they think maybe it's time to change them. But they are a part of
when you
say
brutalist, what can describe it? A little bit?
It's kind of concrete, very blocky, very square,
very concrete buildings.
Yes, not ornate at all. But
what do you think? Do you think they should be knocked down, or do you think they should be kept?
I think it's a part of history. Yeah, I think. I was just going to be really radical. Can I just bring something in here, right, completely out of the blue?
Yeah, this is Talkioki. It's what it's all about.
So it's October and it's Black History Month.
Right.
And a lot of Edinburgh and Glasgow and Liverpool and London were built off the slave trade.
Right.
And you know, things like that are not necessarily palatable, but they are part of history. So making a huge, like, tenuous parallel between, you know, something that is part of our history.
I don't think it's that tenuous at all.
And should you do away with it? No, because maybe it needs to be remembered.
Okay, so there's a history, but also that could be like the history, for example, the history of slavery or commercializing human traffic. How do we remember that history? Can we remember that in our buildings, in our paintings?
Painting is a painting of a slave market.
Oh, is it?
It's a painting of a slave market. But it's a rather sort of, although that artist was unusual, he travelled. He went through Russia and went to the Middle East. It's supposed to be Istanbul, Constantinople, but it is a pretty jazzed up idea of it.
Right, so it's a romanticized slave market.
And it was painted to be sold here because people were fascinated by the idea of slavery at that time. But it is, you know, it's not a photograph. It's something that's. It says as much about the people at home as it does about the people that would have been in Constantinople at the time.
I mean, what about this question about Black History Month? And does this say something about Black history? Does it? Can it be incorporated more into that kind of narrative somehow, that this is how we saw it?
Well, actually, we had a very interesting something happen recently in our portrait gallery, which is a gallery 5 minutes away from here. We had a painting about, we've got an exhibition about young men, about way young men look now, and how they're represented. There's David Beckham, there's all sorts of different people over the centuries. And an Edinburgh group called the Young Fathers, who are Black group, made a film of an interpretation of the gallery, and just talking about, as you walk around the gallery, you don't see many people like us.
Right.
And it went on. It was made, I think, for the Portrait Gallery in London. It was part of something they were doing, and it went online, and it created a massive, very big discussion, and a lot of very negative discussion. And that wasn't the idea. The idea was a really interesting film talking about who it was.
Right.
But it was picked up by very extreme people in the States who don't like anyone. I don't know. It was really anti the young men who'd made the film. It was horrible, and that was what the internet did by putting it out. And it was all about the gallery. It was a very good point about the gallery with these paintings from the 18th and 19th centuries.
Okay, so in a way, I mean, that says a lot about how history kind of like feeds into the modern times as well, and what is you know, I guess as and the internet as
and that's for good and for really bad.
So what do people think about that? I mean, the question about black history especially, how do we relate this history to this, you know, the questions of historical questions of slavery, but also racism today as well? We got.
This was a picture about paintings from the past.
Hold the mic, Tricia, because otherwise, if you
it showed it was a live issue, so it was encouraging people to look at the paintings and saying, you know, this painting, does this mean anything to any of us? A man in a very fine suit. Does that, is it a long time ago? How do you feel about that now? Obviously, you can look at it and think about it, but in a sense,
how did he get to be that rich?
You can do that in any way, but it was a very interesting discussion about paintings of the past. But it got, as soon as it went, because film went on the internet, it was picked up, and people use it in very different ways.
Right. But so I guess that's their imagination. Because earlier on we were talking about imagination and how these paintings.
Imaginations can be quite dark places. I have to say.
Yeah.
It is very much about interpretation as well, isn't it? Because I mean the idea, I think, about Black History Month, it's only a month, could be to open discussions exactly like that. But it's not just about history. It should be about black futures and a black present. And the internet has a tendency to throw up things either that you already like or that you've already commented on. And so in a way it spins the things that we see and the things that we don't see. And in that sense, it's about interpretation. Things are interpreted for us and by us, like a painting. It's not a photograph. It's not actual reality. It is somebody's interpretation of what they saw, and it can depend on the market if you're trying to sell a photograph or a picture, as to how you take it.
Okay, I mean, What do other people think about this question of history and today? And come and get involved in this. We're kind of talking about. We started off talking about this painting and about how we see our history and our past. But then Tina brought up this question about black history and I mean, I don't know anything about this painting, but say this guy here looks very rich. Maybe he made his money from slavery or something. Give us a final thought before you go. So let's get a final thought from these guys.
Sorry, on...
Well, just on anything, really. We talked about history, we talked about imagination, we talked about preserving our history, we talked about the feeling of this, whatever's kind of struck you as important.
Well, I guess one thing about, sort of about what you were saying, these paintings, is sort of, the artist is choosing what the future people will remember, because we don't have records of everything, so whatever they've captured is, this is all we're seeing.
History of the future. So they're actually
whether
making,
it's true or not,
they're making history by actually painting these paintings.
Yes.
Okay. Final thought, Karen.
I was thinking about when she said that this painting back here was a slave market, but I think some people's idea of slave, anybody can be a slave. They're all different kinds of people in there. So, just maybe rich and poor.
So what, I mean, I guess that reflects on our concept of slavery today as well. So much that you can actually kind of bring out into this. We've got a new face on the table. What's your name?
Jasmine.
We've got Marcel, we've got Lewis and Jack and Tina and what was it again?
Jonas.
And I'm Mikey. So, I mean, I guess we're talking about kind of history and how that, I guess, informs our present, but also what we choose to preserve, I think, was kind of Katie's last point.
Actually, remember how it was a bit about interpretation?
Yeah.
With the internet, more people can actually say what they think it is. But while back, like 200 or 300 years ago, it would only be like a few specific people and the artists who would say this painting means this.
Yeah. So in a way, everyone can now say what they think and how they interpret it. I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I sort of got from Trisha that she thought it was a bad thing that people could, if they've got the internet. Jasmine,
I think everyone has their own interpretation, and the more we hear about everyone's different views, the better.
I mean, what about? But say, I mean, we're going off on a bit of a tangent, but that's talkie for you. But I mean, we were talking about a project that was done recently with young fathers, where they made their own interpretation of portraits, and how there were very few black. Their music group, and they were saying there are very few black faces in the portrait gallery down the road. But that got taken up by a kind of, I guess, we're saying right-wing...
White extremists. It got taken up on the internet by white extremists, and the discussion around it was... I mean, it gave us... it's the first time that's ever happened to us, to have something go viral, but in a really, really negative way.
Yeah.
And there was a big discussion about... what do you do with the film? Do you take it down? But the film is really good, and it raises issues that you would want, and it does it in a really good way, and the music's really interesting.
And what do other people think about this? I mean, this question, okay, if you're going to have the internet and you're going to allow people to make comments, then you get these negative comments. I mean, what do people think about that? Is that a thing that we should they take down the video if it's attracting these negative comments? Yeah.
Well, when it comes to me, I think, maybe to say the front, I'm German, so I know about dark spots in history, and quite recent history as well, of course. And I think we always have to be aware of our history and what happened in the past to black people, to Jews in Germany, slave trade, and whatever it was. The British Empire wasn't well, it was quite racist, wasn't it?
I think
so. We always have to be aware of these things. But we also have to be very careful with, how we deal with it. And coming to the internet, I don't think it's necessarily bad that even people who are racist or right-wing or whatever it is, or far left-wing, because they tend to be violent as well. I think it is a good thing that they can express their opinion. But we, as reasonable people, have to deal with it reasonably, and we have to try to disarm these people with arguments, and not just say, "Yeah, you're right. You're racist. You just bug off." It's just the wrong way. So we always have to find a way to create a dialogue, to create a debate and discussion, but a very rational and neutral discussion without emotions, to disarm these people. So
I mean, can something like art do that? Is that the right place to have the discussion, or does it help in any way?
Art.
Yeah,
of course, it's right. Or it's a good way to start, maybe, because everyone is affected by art. Be it in music videos, or in films, or in pictures, or in paintings, in classical art, whatever it is. Everyone is exposed to art all of the time. Be it music. There are racist white extremists who have punk bands or whatever it is. So everyone is exposed to art in some kind of way.
So in a way, we've got to try and have this discussion, but in a sort of like somehow less, somehow take the emotion out of it, I think you're saying, or take the heat out of it.
As far as possible, Of course, it's not always possible, especially when you're affected by it personally. But we should try to get the emotion out of the way, because it does more harm than it does good, I think.
Okay, any other thoughts on this? Jasmine, have you got?
Sorry, I was going back to this painting. Were you saying that it was a slave trade?
I think that Trisha was saying. I didn't know
Trisha.
that.
But this is for white people, sort of, because it's the women who are in the bad position.
Yeah. So in this case, it's white women being sold. I suppose. I mean, I haven't really looked at it closely, to be honest.
And it's sort of turned around because it looks like the black guys are fairly prosperous and sort of helping to sell them. So that's interesting.
Give us a final thought, Marcel, before you go.
Well, You know how we were talking about how
I'm just getting a sore arm holding. Yeah.
You know how it's like the internet and how people can debate.
Yeah.
Like giving the internet to a lot of people is kind of like arming them with the ability, but sometimes people can't just ignore them. I mean, there are like ways.
Is that the best thing to do, to ignore them?
Not really. I mean.
Yeah.
Because ignoring them can sometimes just make them feel like they have to attend to more people.
Yeah.
Like they have to ask more people about it.
Okay, so there's an interesting idea that giving people the power of the internet is also arming them in a way, but maybe not in a bad way. Maybe. Thank you, Marcel. So, I mean, where do we want to go with this discussion?
Can I just say, it's kind of. I don't think we should forget that slavery has always been with us, and it is still with us.
Yeah.
It's not gone anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just different people are enslaved, and in this country there are white women enslaved right now, and so the thing is not to be complacent, I think, and the idea of these things being thrown up on the internet merely just gives us a chance to be able to comment on them really, and like you say, in a rational, sensible way, but also sometimes, you know, even if it is a negative thing that comes out of, you know, this really positive video about people expressing how or whether they're represented is still valid, because it tells us that we can't go to sleep, that we cannot forget
so it's like
that it is
in a way,
yes, and it tells us, all our silent right-doing people, to wake up and actually make ourselves heard, and it's important.
Yeah.
And we need to go now as well.
Oh, no, well, that's a good...
Sorry. I know, I could talk all day. I could talk all day, but
Is that your final thought?
It is. It is my final thought. We should all just...
You have got a final thought?
No,
have you had fun here today?
Yes.
What's been the most fun thing?
Lego.
The what?
Lego.
The Lego, okay. Okay.
It's about the Lego.
Yeah.
It's all about
I mean, what do you think about this painting? Just final... over here. What do you think about... Come and sit. What do you think about this painting? Is it a good painting to make a Lego picture of?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. Final thought?
Yeah, the painting is quite nice. Yeah, I think it was a good choice on that painting, yeah.
Does it make you think about history, this painting, do you think?
No, not this.
You say no? You say a bit, maybe, a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks very much. We've got a new face at the table. Are you staying here, Jonas and Jasmine, and what's your name?
Do I need to say it?
You don't have to, no?
Okay, I won't then.
Okay, you're going to be... We've had some other nameless people. Do you want to have a false name, or just want to be nameless? Do you want to have a different name, a pretend name?
No.
No? Okay, nameless. All right. Okay, so I'm Mikey. At the moment we're talking about history. Do you think these paintings are a good way of explaining history?
Sort of, except for the ones that are just a picture of a branch.
Yeah, you don't think that will say much about history?
No.
Okay.
Really.
Jasmine, I mean, what do you think about this?
I think that art is that it shows us our humanity, and we really need art everywhere now at the moment in order to bring that back, because you know, these depictions of people and leading ordinary lives or dancing or you know, it's wonderful, and landscape, how beautiful everything is around us, to lift everybody's spirits, or
so it's a reflection of humanity in a way.
It is, and we need art. You know, what I'm worried about is in school they're cancelling art classes and music and everything, and we can't do that.
Okay, so it's important. It's very important for our humanity. Do you go to school?
Well, yes.
Do they have art classes there?
Sometimes, but it's not really all.
Yeah.
Oh, paint a masterpiece, and if you do it, we'll put it in a gallery. Because why not?
So
it's not all that.
It's not like that. No. How does the art class go?
It's normally quite simplistic, but not all the time.
Okay.
Most of the time, it does stuff like collages and things like that. We don't really get to do stuff like...
What would you like to do?
Probably just
graphite art or something like that.
So it's more about the material for you, the graphite pencils?
No, it's more or less just the style.
Okay. Okay, so you'd like to learn a style. What do you think about this question about art? How important is art? Are we underestimating the importance of art to show us our humanity, to be a creative tool?
Well, it depends on who you ask, of course. I think everyone who's here today...
I'm asking you.
Yeah, but
you think people here will be saying that?
Yes, I guess everyone who is here today is clearly interested in art, and that's definitely a positive thing. I think children are even more interested in art than we grown-ups might think they are, and in real art, not just in painting stick figures or elephants or whatever it is, but in real art. I think they could be interested in art, but then again, we have I think in every society, be it in Scotland, in England, where I live now, or for a year now, or be it in Germany, in the USA, in China, wherever it is, I think we have a very, very high amount of low-educated people, and I don't think they are as much into art as they should be and could be. So we really have to step up our education game.
Education,
we really have to step up our education game, so to say.
Okay.
So to get people involved into art, because as I said, everyone is affected by art, and everyone is exposed to art every day. But
I mean, are you in the art field yourself, or you?
I study English and philosophy, so kind of
on the fringes.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah.
But we have to up our game when it comes to art education. Do you agree with that?
Most of the time, not really though, because honestly, the sort of art that I do is just more or less drawing cartoons.
Yeah. I mean, do you think you get enough art education? Is it the right kind of education?
In my school, we don't get that much art classes. We just more or less get it for, I don't know. It's quite rare that we get art classes.
Yeah, so you don't really get enough art. Okay.
You get the kind of classes where you look at a painting and see what's in the painting, or.
No, not really.
Okay.
You do it yourself.
I mean, what do you think of this painting? Have you got?
So I like it how they've blended it in.
Yeah.
With the colours, and I like how the water is sort of reflecting up.
Yeah.
I do like the detail in it, and if you look at the castle, it has got a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Very slight detail, but...
Yeah, I mean, you can see this, I don't know if you've seen it, you can see the real version of this painting down there, where you can probably see more detail than in this little card. But you like detail, and you like all these... The depth, in a way, of the painting.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I should pass it. Jasmine, have you seen this painting?
I have.
What would you agree with this person here?
Yes, I would. Sorry, may I just bring it a bit closer? Yeah, because what I love is the way he's done the trees, and you can really see the movement in the trees. So.
Yeah, nice. Have you seen this?
Took a quick look at it.
I mean, talking about this question of upping the game in art education, what could that actually mean, and how would you do it if you were like Minister for Education in the UK, let's call it? I mean, what would you do to sort of up the game of art? What kind of things do you think we would be putting in place?
Well, if you're asking me about art in specific, it's definitely not, well, my piece of cake, cup of tea.
Your cup of tea, yeah.
In that respect, that I'm not well educated in teaching kids how to draw, how to analyze paintings and everything. But I think the key to a good education is always having good teachers.
Yeah.
So the teacher training has to be very, very good, I guess.
Yeah.
So does the university education. Definitely has to be very good. And all the didactic stuff. I'm not really a fan of didactics, so the art of teaching. But I think if someone's really into the topic, and if someone really is well, you know, he's really enthusiastic about the topic or his subject, then it's a very good. It's the key to teaching people well, whatever it is, be it art or math or sports or whatever it is. You always have to be interested in itself or in the topic, in the subject.
But what about if kids are not interested in it?
They should have a certain standard, of course, but then again, depending on the age. You said, I think, then after a certain time, children should be able to leave a certain sphere and just to go to a different one.
If you concentrate on what they actually are interested in.
If you're 16 years old and not that much into art, but more into business, just go into the business branch. Maybe you're interested in art later.
And you think that's at 16 that's the right time to just sort of specialise in that?
Oh, you'd have to ask neurobiologists and psychologists maybe.
But I think
16, 15, 16 is quite a good age, but you already kind of know what you like and what you don't.
What do you think, Jasmine?
I think upping the game means really helping people to see more.
Yeah.
And so whether it's a painting of a landscape or with people, like saying, what do you see in that picture?
Do you think people are not looking at these closely enough?
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't look at them at all.
Yeah, and even here in the gallery?
No, here in the gallery they might, but if you're at school or something, you could just bring a picture and say, you know, what do you think that man's thinking who's leaning on the table?
What is it? He's holding some kind of musical instrument, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. Is it? What is it? Oh, is it a bow?
I think it's a bow.
Oh, is it a bow?
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Man leaning on the table.
Okay.
And it's like helps people to relate to people more. If you ask them to see what's going on and what are these people doing and thinking. And you know, and then in life you can see, what are these people?
So you can apply
feeling and doing.
So it's more, in a way, it's not just about the art, but it's about the people and the relationships. Maybe it is part of the psychology. I know it's not your field, Jonas, but
no, and it just came to my mind. It's definitely about making connections.
Yeah.
Because a lot of subjects you have at school, you just have the subject itself, but you never have a connection established to other subjects. So when I had to learn German at school, and I was into German poets and everything, it's just like, okay, now I have a poem, what should I do with it? But nobody really told us, we have paintings which depict the exact same situation, what do you think? This is what it looks like today, and what it looked like in England at the time, or in the USA, or whatever it is. So you always lack the connections.
Yeah. Instead of teaching something, I mean, in a way, it would be the same as, I guess, with English. Instead of just learning about an English poem written in English, you'd also learn about, you know, maybe there's a poem related to this picture, you know, maybe it'd be, I don't know, William Wordsworth, but don't just have to read the poem, look at some pictures, get a sense of the history, the theatre, everything, rather than just focus on these narrow things. Is it too narrow in schools where you
talk about cathedral building, you know,
or talk about architecture, What do you think? Is it too narrow?
I don't really understand.
Okay, well, maybe we'll try and... Can you explain this a bit more? What do you mean by this, like connecting the different subjects together?
Okay, so maybe, I hope you understand it afterwards. So if you have a look in your art class at this picture,
this one,
what do you see? You see a building, maybe a couple of people, maybe you see some landscape, a bit of nature, but you don't really know what it is, where it is, what it should be like, what it could be like, what it was living like at that time the painting was created. So I think it is important for young people like you to have a connection, so to know what it was it's like to build a huge church, what was it like to build a building for the government, or what was it like to be a farmer at that time,
to have a wagon. So it's this, you know, this isn't just art, this is history, this is English language, this could be about business, this could be about religion, this could be about politics, this could be about absolutely any subject that you've got at school. It's not just art. I think that's what Jonas is saying. And in the same way, like a story could also be about art and all the other things as well. So it's not, I think you're saying it's all linked together and it's all connected. Do you get a bit more now what he means?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. come and have a seat on the table of chat. This is Tokioki. We're talking about, are we doing education the right way? Do we need to up our game when it comes to education? I'm not sure if maybe let's go to Rick and see if Rick's artworks. Rick, is this now a good time? So let's just flick through some of the images that you've got. So Rick's been seeking to visualize the conversation as we go on. This is like a painting ancient ruins, but these ancient ruins are the ancient ruins of a shopping centre from, I guess, from the 20th century. So this is like, how will we see the now in the future, I guess. That's the painter in question, painting. Maybe you would just paint his bed, as that's what people do on the weekends these days, to spend time in bed. This is a professional rainbow painter, I suppose, who just works on rainbows. This is actually one from a previous one. If this image was painted today, would the shopping centre be the contemporary cathedral? Because that's where everyone goes on the weekend. And would he choose Carpetright as a leitmotif? What is this? Is this thinking about nothing? Oh, is this about old people who've got no imagination? Okay. Do we lose our imagination as we get older? This is like all the stories that go on inside your head. This is like Jesus doing a selfie. This is like a photographic representation of the cathedral in the meadows. This is like, are we projecting colours onto different genders, or blues and pinks? This is about, do we see colours in different ways? This is, should we have, now that's looking more black. This is, maybe it is down to the colour of the light. This is, we were talking a lot about the red walls, and although most people like the red walls, some people felt it was too angry, and some people felt that it was too intense. So we just tried a few different colours for the walls. What's this one?
This was medieval, not enough colour, shocked by colour.
Oh, this is medieval people, but maybe you need to do like the medieval horse rider a bit less colourful, so that he's...
I did actually, it was even more colourful.
Tone him down a little bit more, I would say. Shocked by this weird colourful tree. I would be shocked by that though. Maybe it should be something a bit more contemporary. This is the smell gallery. If dogs had a gallery, would it be a gallery of smells? And I think, and this is like colourful pollution. Would we...
Then we wouldn't want to get rid of it.
We wouldn't want to get rid of all this pollution if it was so colourful. And that's where that's actually, if you imagine the conversation went the other way around, like this, but not quite as fast as that. Yes, that's where we are right now. Maybe it's time to have a little break.
Are you an artist?
Yeah.
Are you an artist?
I consider myself an artist, yeah, but more of an artist of ideas. But let's get some final thoughts from you guys first. Thanks very much for get a final thought from you, Jasmine, before you go.
Yeah, no.
Sit down though, because it's hard for me to hold the microphone up higher like that. Or grab the mic and stand up if you want to.
No, I really think, it'd be so valuable for anybody to start just really looking at one painting and seeing what it evokes in them. And
because it strikes me really from your view of some of these paintings we are in the room with, that you're looking probably more deeply into them than most people just go, oh, there's a picture of a room, some people in the room, but don't really look as deeply into it. Maybe. How do we encourage people to go deeper?
Because we're not taught to do that, to just sit and look.
So I guess we need to spend a bit more time on each painting then, I suppose.
More seats and more.
Maybe there should be more seats in front of the. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. A final thought, Jonas?
I think as I said, the key term is, or the key point is definitely education for everyone. And one of the key points in education is, especially for us language teachers, for example, is authenticity. You always need authentic material. So I think one really good thing is, first of all, that the Scottish National Gallery is for free.
Yeah.
So everybody can come in here, have a look at these very beautiful paintings and busts and whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, as this picture for me really depicts or shows this early depiction of Edinburgh, is that when you have a connection from what it's like nowadays to the old or what it was before, that's really important.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
what gives you a different point of view on basically everything.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned this idea of connection, and I think, you know, that's a different kind of, that's like a historical connection, that some of these things still exist, so we can actually, it helps us to go back into the past when we can relate to it. And yeah, but I mean, also early on you were talking about the connection between the different subjects as well, which I think was a powerful point too. Okay, we're going to take a break now. Thanks very much. Thanks to Rick for visualising all these things, and we'll be back shortly. I kind of am. Well, not really. I mean, I don't play tunes. Well, sometimes we have put on a bit of music. That's our card anyway. And we'll be back later. Thanks everyone.